North Carolina, 2009 national champion, a three-time NBA champion, 2014 with the Spurs, 2019 with the Raptors, 2020 with your Los Angeles Lakers, one of four to ever win a title with three different teams. My friend and now co-worker, Danny Green, calling from the East Coast. What's up, Danny?
What's up, Geeter? How you doing, man? How's everything?
I got to tell you, I'm doing good. The off season is going well. Oldest daughter graduating on Thursday. Then it's off to USC on Sunday.
Man.
Danny, I know you're nowhere near that, buddy. You are nowhere near that with your little ones. But how's summer been going for you?
Been going great, man. Just right now enjoying the finals, traveling some in Bristol, Connecticut right now. But, yeah, covering the finals and trying to move up to the big boy stage and be as good as you one day.
Oh, come on, man. You've already passed it. Now, Danny, you went to the first two games in San Antonio. Before we get to game three, what was that like? What was the vibe? What were some of your takeaways as the Knicks kind of shock the world and go up 2-0?
Man, it was I said the series have been great, right? So the games have been up and down. The Spurs have come out. They've kind of used a lot of their gas early on and then kind of haven't been able to stay throughout the game. Like they're getting fatigued and showing some signs of conditioning and mental, the stamina isn't there yet. But the Knicks have just kept answering each call. They're playing great basketball. But a lot of these games are decided by, small margins of decisions. And, they finally kind of put it together in game three. They stuck it out through the whole game, and it was able to kind of put two halves together. And, they actually finally closed and got one done. They scored some baskets. Wemby was intentional and aggressive with getting to the rim and being closer to the basket. Stephon Castle put pressure on the rim. So it was fun to see. And then, of course, they did a good job defensively. They took Mikal Bridges out of it a little bit. They took Cat out of it a little bit. So it was a great effort by them, and then making it a series, which we want to see, right? We want more basketball. We don't want to sweep. We don't want to see anything ending early. We want at least 6 or 7 games of this type of basketball.
Danny, I told our listeners, I've been on the Knicks. I wasn't ready to hand the keys just yet to a dynasty for the San Antonio Spurs. I felt the Knicks are in that perfect window to win now. They haven't had one in 53 years. But I got to tell you, Danny, in game 3, I was all Spurs because selfishly, I want this series to go as long as it can. How fun is this series, and how much are you enjoying watching it just as a basketball fan and a former player?
Man, I'm loving it, especially, because of the fact that I am from New York and also was a Spurs, so I'm getting kind of the best of both worlds to be able to visit both. But it's just great basketball, high value, intense, good competitive basketball, right? So kind of to the purest form. So I'm really enjoying the series, man. I'm seeing I love what I've seen out of OG, who's a former teammate, and then my former team, those young guys who are kind of ready to roll with Castle, Fox, of course, Wemby, and then Dylan Harper coming off the bench. I've seen him play since he was in high school. So they're fighting, man, and doing some really special things. Champagne is lighting up the playoffs. Vassell, they're on a pretty good run. So I would like to see that, again, as much basketball just like you as we can, and they can extend this thing to at least 6 or 7 games. Would be a lot of fun.
Now, you played for the Spurs. You won a title in 2014, lost in the finals in 2013. Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker. Have the Spurs recreated that with Wemby, Castle, and Harper? Are you kidding me? They've done it again?
Yeah, it kind of looks like that. Different versions.
For sure.
But, yeah, you get a big three like that. Wemby, who's a, generational talent that you're not going to see once every 200 years or so. And then Castle, who's very athletic at the point guard position, explosive, still learning how to, set the table. But Harper, then will come off the bench and be so crafty and so good at finishing around the rim. And then, of course, you got Fox kind of helping them learn along the way. And then you got the shooters, Champagne, Vassell, including 3 and D guys, and you have a bunch of guys off the bench that can give you some things. And, again, I think Carter Bryant's going to be a player as well. They have a really good foundation. And, again, they got the Big Three 2.0 right now, it looks like. And if they can keep that group together, they're going to be successful for some time to come.
Who did you have before it started, and do you still have the same team winning it? Did you have to pick the Spurs because you played there?
I didn't. To start the playoffs, I thought OKC would repeat. Mm-hmm. But when I watched the playoffs, I was not a believer in the Knicks, never in my life, since I've watched them grow up my whole entire life. They've disappointed my family friends, because my family wasn't big Knicks fans, but some of my family and some of my friends My whole life they've been disappointed. They've been let down by the Knicks, and they always kind of buy in. Everybody talks about these delusional fans like the Cowboys, and and thinking that this is our year, and that's how the Knicks were. This year, I was kind of made believers by watching them play in that second round of the playoffs. In the third round, I knew they would kind of beat up on Cleveland, but they're just having a historic run. And once they beat Cleveland, swept them, I said Knicks in 4, and that's even before knowing who was going to come out the West, just because of how good they were playing.
Wow.
And also because the West was going through a 7-game series. It's a hard, heavyweight battle, and I thought they'd be fatigued. And I still stand on that. I still believe the Knicks will win in 6. The Knicks will win in 6. And, and that's me saying it publicly because of how good I'm a Spurs biased fan and alum. So I'm really rooting for the Spurs. But I thought the Knicks would win this year because this seems like everything and the stars are aligning for them to win this year.
Danny, you mentioned where you grew up. You mentioned kind of your family, and you have a lot of friends in that area and the New York Knicks fans. What would a title mean to this city?
Man, I mean, the world. As I said, I haven't seen it in my lifetime, and I'm almost 40 years old. It's been 53 years, 27 years since they've been back to the finals. Again, the city is already on fire, and they haven't won yet. But a lot of these older sports fans from the city have not been able to experience one or see one. And some of them have spent a lot of money in mortgages paying, betting on the Knicks, losing gambling debts, and, all these type of things. Like I said, Fat Joe was on the show. He said he would cry. So that's what we're going to experience. Some people are going to be so happy to be crying with laughter. You're going to see a different type of joy in the atmosphere. Again, New Yorkers are not normally known to speak to each other and say hi and give hugs, but I think it's uniting everybody in the city, with the exception of them, trying to bully people that are fans from other places. But, it's just seeing New York kind of really come together and kind of be excited and support each other. It's a new thing I've never seen in my life in the 40 years I've been living almost. So it's going to mean a lot to the city. I think they're very much in dire need of it. They haven't had it in a very long time. And I'm always for, pushing or seeing and encouraging new champions and teams that actually need it. Like last year we got a new champion with Oklahoma, and it would have been Indiana. So either one of those teams would have been fun to see win their first one ever. And now this year is going to be a new champion for the first time in a long time for New York, or in a little while for Spurs too. So each year I'm all for that. And it keeps the game competitive. It keeps, sports unpredictable and more exciting when you can't predict, or it's not a bunch of back-to-back winners and dynasties and that sort of thing.
Danny, I want to take people inside our studio because I hope that a lot of people driving around LA or watching us wherever they're able to watch the pre and post game show. And you joined us this year for the first time. And what I tell everyone, Danny, is that my favorite thing about Danny Green is he watches every minute of the game with me, and he does not stop talking about the game, breaking it down. I learned so much from DG. I appreciate that. How much fun are you having being on this side of it and watching the games and kind of learning the TV side?
Man, I'm enjoying it to the fullest, man. Not only am I speaking the game, but I'm learning a lot from you guys of how to talk it and how to, break it down to the viewer. And, again, just watch it. I don't get a chance to, when I'm with the kids, just openly watch it all day. So when I'm able to sit down and watch the games with you guys and break it down, it's always a lot of fun. And then, we all get to put our GM hats on, our coaching hats on, and see what we would do. Obviously, I'm not a coach or a GM, but, you guys value my opinion and say, oh, would you do that? Would you do that? And some things are like, yeah, I would. Some things, no. But, again, it doesn't mean I'm right or wrong, but it means that you respect my opinion, and it might be a different outcome. And you're like, oh, okay, I see why you would do that. But I'm really enjoying it, man. It's a lot of fun, and learning from everybody around me as well on different panels and how to break it down, and also how to be better at my craft with, speaking the game to the average viewer.
How many M&Ms does Big Game get into during the game?
Yeah, almost as much as me. I'm trying to cut back on the M&Ms. They're very addictive when you're in that studio. But, yeah, Big Game, he's the M&M guy. And, I'm following suit as a fellow Carolina alum. And but at the same breath, trying to make sure that I don't get too crazy out of shape by watching these games and talking the game. So I got to continue to work out and not eat too many M&Ms and stay away from the snacks. But it's always a lot of fun and a lot of love to snack out and hang out and watch the game with you guys.
There's no doubt about it. You could still hit a few threes and play 20 minutes. But, Danny, you live in Los Angeles with your family, and I know you only played here for 1 year, but you won a title. Do you still feel a connection, or do you feel like you got robbed a little bit because it was in the bubble and you never got to celebrate with the fans?
A little bit of both. I do feel a connection. I'm able to still a little bit of both. I do feel a connection. I'm able to still go to the games. They incorporate me, embrace me to do like, sweet visits during the games here and there, and some activations and meeting fans and greeting them. But yes, we did not get a chance to parade, and I felt definitely robbed of that. I got a great opportunity to experience that in San Antonio, and an unbelievable, incredible parade in Toronto. Both of them were a lot of fun, and I never got the one in LA. So a little bit robbed, but I definitely feel embraced and connected still, but not as connected because we didn't get a chance to celebrate that one the way we should have.
So, Danny, obviously, you've been in a lot of playoff games. You've won 3 titles with 3 different teams, and you were always considered one of those glue guys, one of those role players. We saw it here firsthand in 2020. You thrived in that role. Big Shot Bob has been one of our guys. D. Fish, who works with us, guys who did it at the highest level. They did whatever it takes to win. When you're building a team, a championship contender, someone that's got a shot, how important is that to find winning type of players, and what should the Lakers be looking at?
It's very important, and I think that's kind of what San Antonio did. They found certain character quality guys first before the player. But you obviously want a great player as well. But if you can get both in the same breath, it makes it easier to get a team, a group to build in or lock in or buy in. So you got to find good character quality guys that like to win, that want to win, and that, have a high IQ and look at things bigger than themselves.
Where do you come out on Austin Reaves? We've been talking a lot about him. The reports came out that they're going to hope for the max. That's what they're going to be looking for. You haven't heard Austin Reaves say that, but it's his agent's job, and it's his job to do what he can for his family and what he deserves. I know you're a big Austin Reaves guy. How do you want to see this go for Austin?
I mean, I am a big Austin Reaves guy. I think he's very special. And in today's market, he's definitely worthy of a max, right? So I know it's tough when you're trying to build a championship team. I think a lot of guys can learn from Jalen Brunson. And obviously, Jalen's made one of the more contract before he got his big one. And I don't expect anybody to take a haircut, but and maybe in another place he could. I know the taxes in California are a little steep. So it's hard to take a cut in California, but I would love for him to stay a Laker and be with Luka. It'd be fun to keep watching them grow together. But I think every superstar, again, right now it's not Austin's time to do that. He needs to go get paid, go get his contract, and maybe later on down the line, maybe take a haircut and say, all right, I want to build this type of group or this type of team around me. But yeah, I would love to see him continue to grow and stay, because each year he gets better and better, and I can't wait to see what's in store for him next year coming up.
So I know you know the league so well. Let's say Austin does stay in LA and they like to roll with Luke and Austin. I'll get to LeBron in a moment. What are the priorities to put around guys like them?
Defensive guys, right? Defenses and shooters. So that's no real secret or science to it. If you want to have a great winning team, you need some superstars. You need a good quality big that can rebound, and some 3-and-D guys around them. So if you can get that at a good price, you have a good chance at being successful and winning some championships.
I know you get asked this all the time, Danny. What do you think LeBron does next season? One, do you think he's playing for sure? What do you think the best fit is? Do you see it here in LA?
I think he does play next year for sure. One more year, maybe if not 2, who knows? But I think he for sure comes back next year. And I hope it's in LA. I think it might be in LA, because I don't know what Cleveland has in store. It's either LA or Cleveland, but I think it'll be his last year in LA. And I think he'll go out the way he wants to go out, and they'll treat him that way. So hopefully we can see that.
You don't buy into the Warriors rumors out there? That they're kind of a player in this?
Say that again? I'm sorry.
The Warriors, do you see them as a player in this? That's kind of one of the rumors out there.
I don't. I just can't picture that. I can't picture him in a new uniform. It's either in the one he's in now or somewhere he was at prior to this. And I don't see Miami either, but no, I don't see Golden State taking any part in this.
Danny, you and I have spoke about this watching the games, but just for the fans out there, how good was that 2020 Lakers team? The bubble was at a time and place in the world where it were circumstances that no one could have foreseen, right? And I always give the NBA credit for having the bubble. I think, people want to laugh at the bubble or say, oh, it doesn't count. But you still played 4 out of 7 series. You played Dame, you played Harden, you played Russ, you played Jokic, you played Murray, and then you played Jimmy, Bam, and the Miami Heat. It was an absolute battle in there for 90 days. But that team going in, I try to always tell everyone, was the best team in the league. How good was 2020?
Yeah, man, I'd like to say so too. I mean, regardless of the situation or scenario, I think we would have been the team to come out on top because we were just such a defensive juggernaut. You know, we had myself, KCP on the wings. Avery Bradley didn't even come to the bubble with us. We had Alex Caruso. We had, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis. And then we're not even mentioning LeBron James yet, Rajon Rondo, Kuz. We had a really good team of guys that can really, collectively do it together. And then defensively just be on the string. Offensively, we weren't the greatest, but we had a defensive juggernaut to where we can kind of limit and stop anybody that we faced. That team was really good. And then when everybody asked me, like, who's the best team you were part of, the most talented team? And I'm like, it's hard to argue against that one, especially if you match up any of those guys in their prime. It's probably one of the best teams assembled that I've been a part of.
That is wild.
Of all time, anyway.
I did not know that. You played in the league, 17 years?
15 technically, but yeah, probably one of the greatest teams of all time if you take all those guys in their prime.
Man, that's amazing. Danny, by the way, people might not know this, Funchy and DeAndre, but Danny hit 27 threes in the 2013 finals. They lost in 7 to LeBron. Do you ever think about you would have got finals MVP if we had just rebounded the ball?
Yeah, it's crossed my mind once or twice before. I mean, was a rebound or a free throw, I think it could have been a different outcome for me individually, but more so than anything, I could have had some more hardware and a ring, so that would have been great.
Do you still think about the ones that you didn't get? I mean, you got 3, but are there ones that still stick out? I mean, that's just the competitor that you are.
Just that one. Yeah. And then we had an opportunity with Kawhi before the ankle thing with Zaza in 2017, I think. But mainly that one because it was so close, right? The woulda, coulda, shouldas, or if this and that, like before the finals round, I don't know if you can really stretch it that far for me because, if Kawhi was healthy, maybe we could have, but I don't like to go that far. But we were in the finals and we were 1-2 possessions away from getting it done. And it's hard to sometimes watch over and over the highlights. People watch that Ray Allen shot. I can't watch it. I still have PTSD from it.
Yeah,
that. I really don't try to too much about it. So, yeah.
All right, last thing, Danny, we got to let you go, man. I appreciate your time. More than generous. I know you're on the East Coast. Give me your Game 4 prediction and just kind of what you'll be looking for in this game.
I want to see. I think the Knicks will get this one. I think they'll make adjustments. What I want to see a hard-fought battle to the end. I want to see it go down to the wire like it has been. And, I also want to see more basketball, so I hope the Spurs can stretch and win at home in Game 5. But I think Game 4, the Knicks will get more settled in. They're at home. They're acclimated. And I think they'll win this one probably about 3 or 4 points. That's what I want to see anyway.
Danny, don't be a stranger this summer, my brother.
I'll be around, man. You know where to find me.
All right, Danny, thanks so much for joining us, man. We needed you today, man. We don't have our captain, Mike Trudell. We needed you to come in, and you came in and delivered like you always do. Thank you, Danny. Danny Green, and he said that Lakers team in 2020 is the most talented team he has ever been on, and he would put it up against anyone. You're listening to ESPN LA 710. We'll be back on the other side.
Hi, it's LeBron. The